1 minute, it was on radar. The next, it was gone. March 8th, 2014, 1:19 a.m. The co-pilot of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 keys the radio and delivers a standard sign-off. Good night, Malaysian 370. Those are the last words anyone will ever hear from that aircraft. 90 seconds later, the transponder shuts off. The plane vanishes from civilian screens, but it doesn't fall. It doesn't crash. Instead, military radar catches a ghost. A massive Boeing 777 making a sharp, deliberate turn, flying back across land, dipping to avoid detection, then heading south, into the most remote, desolate stretch of ocean on Earth. For 7 hours, it flies. No distress call. No navigation. Updates. Just silence. Until the fuel runs out. Until the engines die. Until it plunges into the black water of the southern Indian Ocean. 239 souls. Erased in a single night. No wreckage found for 16 months. No black boxes recovered. No definitive answer. Just an ocean that refuses to give up its secrets. This is the story of MH370, and it's far stranger than fiction. Welcome to Dark History Files. To understand how a modern airliner can simply disappear, we have to go back to the beginning. Flight 370 was supposed to be routine. A Boeing 777-200, 12 years old, impeccably maintained. The 777 is one of the safest aircraft ever built, with triple redundant systems and a flawless safety record before that night. On board were 239 people from 14 countries. Families returning from vacation, business executives, elderly couples. A 1-year-old baby traveling with her parents. In the cockpit sat Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, a veteran with over 18,000 flight hours. Beside him, First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid, 27, completing his final training flights. Weather was clear. Fuel was sufficient. The route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing was flown daily. At 12:42 a.m. The aircraft lifted smoothly into the tropical night. Everything was normal. Until it wasn't. Let's walk through the timeline. At 1:07 a.m. The plane leveled off at 35,000 feet. Autopilot engaged. Systems green. At 1:19 a.m. Malaysian Air Traffic Control instructed the flight to contact Ho Chi Minh Control. The co-pilot acknowledged. Good night, Malaysian 370. 2 minutes later, the transponder stopped broadcasting. Instantly, not a gradual failure. A manual shutdown. The aircraft vanished from civilian radar. But Malaysian military primary radar kept tracking it. And what it saw changed everything. The plane didn't continue toward Vietnam. It executed a sharp left turn. It swung back west, crossing the Malay Peninsula. It dipped to 18,000 feet, then climbed again. These weren't automated maneuvers. Someone was flying it. At 2:22 a.m. It passed beyond military radar range over the Strait of Malacca. Then, according to later satellite analysis, it turned south, pointing directly into the southern Indian Ocean. From that moment on, there was no voice communication, no radar. Only one system remained active, the satellite data unit. It sent automated handshake pings to an Inmarsat satellite, once every hour. 7 pings. The last one at 8:19 a.m. By analyzing the signal delay and Doppler shift, investigators determined the plane flew for roughly 7 hours after vanishing. It didn't crash near land. It flew until the fuel exhausted. The engines flamed out. The autopilot disengaged. The aircraft entered a spiraling descent and impacted the ocean at high speed. The wreckage sank immediately into water over 12,000 feet deep, into darkness, into silence. The search that followed was the largest and most expensive in aviation history. Initially, teams scoured the South China Sea. Nothing. Then, when military radar data was finally released, the search shifted west. Still nothing. When the satellite arc was calculated, the focus moved to the remote southern Indian Ocean. Hundreds of ships, dozens of aircraft. 3 years. Over $200 million. They mapped the sea with side-scan sonar. They dropped hydrophones, listening for the black box pings. They found nothing until July 2015. A piece of debris washed ashore on Reunion Island. A flaperon, barnacle-encrusted, salt-bleached. French investigators confirmed it. Belonged to MH370 over the next few years. 30 more fragments washed up across the Indian Ocean rim. Mozambique, South Africa, Madagascar. Each piece confirmed the crash. None revealed the location dot without the black boxes. Investigators relied on circumstantial evidence. The shoal. Report concluded that deviations were the result of manual inputs. But who and why? The leading theory points to pilot intervention. The transponder was switched off deliberately. The turns were aggressive. The route avoided radar. Captain Zahari's home flight simulator contained a deleted flight path matching the southern Indian Ocean trajectory. He was also facing personal and financial stress. Critics argue there's no suicide note, no clear motive. Supporters note that aviation murder-suicides rarely leave warnings. Other theories exist. Rapid decompression and electrical fire or sophisticated hijacking, but none explain the deliberate routing and communication blackout as cleanly as human intervention. The truth remains buried under miles of pressure and sediment. Beyond the mystery lies the human. Cost. 239 families trapped in a unique form of grief. Not just loss, but uncertainty. Without bodies, without a crash site, without answers, they cannot hold funerals. They cannot visit graves. They are forced to mourn a question mark, but from this tragedy, aviation evolved. MH370 exposed a critical flaw: the inability to track aircraft in real time over remote oceans. After 2014, global tracking standards were mandated. Planes now report position every 15 minutes. Black box batteries were extended from 30 to 90 days. Deployable recorders that float and transmit GPS coordinates are now being installed. Cockpit security and pilot mental health protocols were intensified. These changes weren't optional. They were born from grief, and they save lives. Over a decade later, the main wreckage of MH370 remains missing. The black boxes sleep in the dark. The southern Indian Ocean keeps its secrets, but the story isn't over. Marine technology advances every year. Private expeditions still scan the arcs, families still wait, and aviation professionals still study every data point. Determined to ensure this never happens again, 370 did more than vanish. It changed how we fly. It reminded us that behind every flight number, every seat map, every departure board, are human lives, stories, families. And when those lives are lost, the world's duty isn't just to investigate. It's to remember, if this story resonated with you, if you believe in the pursuit of truth, hit that like button, subscribe to Dark History Files, and turn on notifications. We uncover history's darkest mysteries, one story at a time. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or theories. I read every single one. The sky is vast. The ocean is deep. But memory endures. Until next time, stay curious. This is Dark History Files, signing off.